All right. Hey, welcome back to the Go for CEO channel. Every time we bring another CEO, founder, entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs to the Go for CEO channel, you're witnessing every single story of a small to medium-sized business owner across the United States and across the world. We're actually jumping borders and bringing people and bringing all this type of flavor that you're getting to learn all different types of industries. And I'm super excited. I want you to also subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. If you're existing to the channel, look, engage to this interview today. This lady is powerful. I've, again, brought someone off of Clubhouse and getting a chance to have a conversation with them. So I know her as Amy K, but she's got a beautiful Ethiopian name, which I want her to share. So welcome to the show, Amy. Thanks for coming on to the Go for CEO channel.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me. And yeah, a lot of times I go by the name Amy, but my actual name is Hikmet Ahmed. The definition of Hikmet, by the way, means wisdom. And I go by that, but go ahead, feel free to call me Amy. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, hey, it's so beautiful. And, obviously being from Ethiopia that you shared with me offline, really cool to have someone just from a different, where you first lived, right? And then came to the United States, and then obviously going to be a cool experience. So stay tuned, Go for CEO community, be a part of this, journey. And then, we're going to hear a lot of great stuff. So Amy, Veveil jewelry, a lot of people, hope to become an entrepreneur sometime, but you're doing it. So tell us a little bit about just kind of the beginning parts, what your idea was, how you started to construct the Veveil jewelry brand, and we'll get started that way.
Okay, so when I started the idea for Veveil, it was all started with my passion, my desire. My passion always since childhood has been styling, putting outfits together, putting jewelries that complement your outfit and things like that. But coming from my background, coming from Ethiopia, if I say to my parents, to my family, hey, I'm going to be a designer, a fashion designer, that would not be acceptable because unfortunately that is not considered a real major, right? So I kind of was like, okay, let me see what I can major in. And then I went for accounting and I majored in accounting, but I always had this nagging feeling, my passion always like, I gotta go for it. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go for it. And I started writing what I wanted to do. And the stuff that I wanted to do, my idea was, at that time, I didn't know how big my idea was. My idea was to design an outfit, have someone make it for me and market it. And doing that, when I started the process, I realized this is a lot more than I can handle. And I will admit, I was like, okay, I can't do this. I'm going to sit back and see what I can do. But I still had that nagging feeling. I would go back into it. Actually, this is this book, this is my notebook. It has all my visions in here. I would write what I want on there. I would go back sometimes every night. I would go back, look at it. I'm like, I need to make this happen, right? So earlier this year in March, again, I went back to the idea of bringing designing style outfit the way I wanted it and putting it on the market. As you know, it would be very difficult for me to market just coming out, just starting brand new. It would be very difficult. That means I have to work like a lot harder. So I said, okay, let me pause and see what I can do. And I narrowed it down to something small, but not something small, which is jewelry. For me, as a woman, I put on an outfit. And when I put on a jewelry, I feel, okay, this is complete. Now I can walk outside of the house, right? I feel good. And I said, let me start with that. I can start with that as something small, but it gives women confidence. Enhances their beauty. It's something that I can say, okay, I can start with this one. So I started with Veveil. The name Veveil came about the word veil, which means cover, right? And I really like that word. So I used that word, but I wanted it to be a little bit unique. So I added the VE and I changed it to Veveil. And that's how I came up with the brand Veveil. And starting this, I've been working on it the past, I would say, wow, 9 months. And we launched last month, November. And during the process, I learned a lot that I did not learn in school. I can say that. And it was not difficult. You have to deal with different vendors. You have to find the right vendors. So during the past 9 months, what I was doing is that I had to find the right vendors that would supply what I needed. And by doing that, I had to contact them directly, email them, message them, hey, this is what I'm looking for. What can you do for me? What is your product? How long does it take to supply the product? How much product can I get? And stuff like that. And doing that to start with, I had to talk to different vendors. And then I have to go by process of elimination, maybe order a few samples, get the samples, check the samples, and then if I don't like the quality, eliminate, and then narrow it down to maybe 3 vendors for now. So one of my top vendors currently, I have one dedicated person that communicates with me if I want to order or if there's an issue, delay, or anything. I have one dedicated person, which I really, really like about that vendor. So I deal with them directly pretty much. And that's, in a nutshell, that's how I started this whole Veveil jewelry company.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, look, you had that inner core of just the desire, right? Now you're a recovering accountant, So no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And tell us a little bit about. I don't typically go too far into personal side, but I love the background, right? The Ethiopian background, and you shared that obviously your parents or the culture maybe wouldn't look at it as something as as exciting for you to be able to do with your education. Obviously you did still pursue the education, and right now over the last 9 months you had a lot of education on business, right? I know on Clubhouse you've asked a lot of great questions and you've been a part in communicating what you're doing. So what's kind of maybe like 2 nuggets that you shared, being that you went through formal education, you got a regular, job type scenario, you were fulfilling that, but what are 2 nuggets that maybe you've learned now in this entrepreneur mindset?
The main one for me, I can say a lot of people will have passion, right? But passion by itself is not going to be enough to get you where you need to be. So what I learned is that you want to do something, you're passionate about something, you need the basic foundation, one of them being discipline. Discipline meaning, okay, I want to do something. Every morning, am I going to dedicate time to do what I said I'm going to do? Or it's just going to be on a piece of paper, or it's just something in my head that is there. I said I'm going to do it, but I'll forget about it and I'm not going to do it. And then by not doing that, I'm that far behind from achieving my goal, from achieving my passion. So for me, one thing that I learned is that this is major for me because I was holding myself accountable the entire time. And that's how I was able to achieve this, because it was not easy. I would give myself deadlines. I would write it down, and I make sure that I am following my schedule. I stayed true to my schedule. I'm very disciplined. I try to be disciplined with my schedule. That's one thing. The other thing I learned is that now that I'm becoming entrepreneur, I know that I have to be willing to continuously learn, because there's a lot of things that I don't know. Those 2 things are, I think, the major thing for me.
That's awesome. Well, look, you really shared a s- a dynamic of work ethic and discipline combined, right? When it's on your own, because obviously sometimes with a job you can kind of the set 9 to 5 type of mentality, right? That you have to execute. It's kind of set for you, but you've actually put in the extra time to really learn the business, like you said, vet out some of the distributors and the manufacturers and the vendors and those types of things with your business. So it's pretty awesome stuff. So, well, neat. So now you said you launched last month, right? In November.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
actually in December 4th of 2021. So man, brand new baby. So what
Yes.
does the launch look like for you? What are some of the butterflies? What were you like? What was the launch date? How was that feeling? I saw obviously the website's very beautiful. You got a lot of the things that you offer there. What were some things coming up to that, and then the launch date? How did that make you feel, and what did you do?
Actually, let's go back a little bit before the launch
Okay.
date, because even myself, I'm doing it, I'm working, I'm writing down tasks, and I'm, check marking everything. And one day when I received my packaging for my jewelry, it came in huge boxes. I ordered it, I didn't think about it. I'm like, it's gonna come in. I thought it was just gonna be a small box. It came in and it was huge boxes. And I opened it and I wanted to cry, because I'm like, I did this and I have achieved this. And now, even if I'm scared, there's no way to go back, because I have this two huge
Yeah.
boxes sitting, right?
Wow.
That was like my first emotional moment before I launched the business. And uh, on my launch date, I set up everything ready to go. I made sure that everything is working, the website, the checkout process, I checked everything. And then on the launch date, I am like, this is real. I did this. I cannot believe I did this. And right at that moment, and I say to myself, I can do this. And if I can do this, I can do so much more. And I'm glad I did something small. That way, that motivates me to go to the next step. And then I realized another thing. So far, coming up to this point, up to launch date, I learned so much, like you said, something that I did not learn at school. Right now, I'm in the business and I learned so much. And looking back, nobody knows everything when they start something, right? They have to try. Maybe it doesn't work, or you learn. That's how you learn. You keep going. So, and I'm like, okay, this is amazing. I did this. I'm ready for the next step. So it was just surreal. I was super excited and a little bit nervous, but excited. So it was a very emotional time for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, hey, look, anytime it's something new, it's kind of like a new baby, a new car, a new something, right? It's just a new dress even gets you emotional, right? Because
Yeah.
you just feel good in that piece. And so now you're giving that emotional value to all the ladies, or even the men that are buying it for their ladies, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, maybe guys are buying it too, so for themselves. But what a cool story, and really neat to hear. And so tell me a little bit about, we like to go into kind of the business day to day with Go for CEO, because we're really teaching people, how to go for CEO, right? And you're now the CEO of your own company. What are some of the things that you did as far as funding wise? Like, how did you raise capital, or did you maybe put into some sort of debt, maybe accrue some credit card stuff? Like, what was some of the tools, or did you already have a savings example? So give us a little insight of how you used your money to set yourself up in the launch side.
Well, the funding came from saving. When I started, like I said, the whole process, the idea started March of this year.
Mhm.
So I knew there's it's going to be very difficult to get funding for my kind of business, especially just new business, just starting out.
Mhm.
So I knew I need to fund my own expenses, and a lot of it, actually all of it, came from my own savings. And I also have my personal credit cards that I used. So a lot of it, all of it came from
From you.
savings. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And look, ladies and gentlemen, the Go for CEO community, there's so many different ways to start a business, right? From SBA lending, small business administration, to personal capital, like you just did, Amy. And, then obviously sometimes you get investors, friends and family, or you do crowdfunding. So there's so many different ways. And it's really cool to hear, like, you had the capital. Now you're starting to see some of these sales come back. And it's so interesting. I'm sure you see a sale, this is what it cost you, and this is the margin that you made, and you're like, oh, that's profit. All right. So so that's awesome stuff. So tell us, what are some things that you're doing marketing wise, pre and post launch?
Pre-launch, I mainly use social media.
Mhm.
And I would use my Instagram page that I mainly created for Veveil jewelry, and I had Facebook. I was using that. I was letting people know, hey, this product is coming. You're right, we're coming, we're doing this and this. I would just let people know what is coming. And once I did launch, I did increase my advertising budget, and I am still using social media for now. But because I am new, people don't know my product yet. So I am putting my budget for advertising is a little bit higher than I would like to.
Mhm.
But going forward, once people get to see my products, how it is, I want to reduce my budget for marketing, and I want it to be more like word of mouth. Somebody will get my product, they will like it, they would refer someone, or maybe more into affiliate marketing. That's my plan for the future. So even for myself, when I buy a product, it is very likely because somebody recommended it. My sister, somebody recommended the product. I would just, without hesitation, I'll go get it. That's what I want my jewelry to be. I don't want it to be, hey, you need to buy. I want somebody to see it. They like the quality. They would refer someone. And then that way, just pure word of mouth. That's the plan for the future.
I love it. A lot of organic side of things, right? And you're growing, and yeah, look, you're putting in some initial investment. You're seeing that return on investment, ROI,
Mhm.
right? Or they call it what is it? ROADs, return on ad spend. And
Yeah.
that's always an interesting one. And it's also probably your own efforts, right? Do you do anything as far as like a pop-up type of place, or do you go to maybe I don't know, like a pop-up like little areas where markets that you could kind of showcase yourself? Are you thinking about that, or is it completely an online business?
I am planning to attend some trade shows and
Okay.
some events. That's the plan. But for now, it's going to be purely online. But in the future, that's something that I'm willing to do. Again, it goes back to people seeing, touching, feeling my product, liking my product, and referring someone. So in order for them to do that, I figured I need to give people the chance to see my product. So trade shows, pop-ups, and things like that would be ideal for me. So that is also in the works.
Awesome. So that leads me to, some of the infrastructure of your business. So obviously someone goes online, they're not technically, feeling it there, but they're seeing the beautiful quality that you could see on Veveil, .com. What are some of the things that you've set up so that the experience might be that, do they have like a 30-day money back guarantee, a 90-day, or is there anything that allows them to, I guess, be in the moment of the product? And is there any dynamic like that?
Currently, we have a refund policy in place. It's 14-day return policy we have right
Okay.
now. That was done because I want people to see it. If they don't love it, they would know. As a woman, I know if I'm going to love a jewelry or not. So I think 14 days is a reasonable time. And if they don't like that, they can, we have a refund policy. They can return it and we will refund them the money back.
That's awesome. Well, look, and those are the risks you have to take as an entrepreneur, right? That someone
Yes.
may use the product and not enjoy it, but that's really cool that you have that. So let me ask you a question: is it the dynamic of how you actually do you inventory most of the jewelry, or is it drop shipping? What's that type of mechanism?
Everything is inventory. I have everything that you see on my website is I have it on hand.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do the idea of drop shipping because it's all about my customers too. I didn't want them waiting to get the products, but if I have it on hand, they will get it within a week, sometimes
Nice.
even 3 days, depending on where they are.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, it lends itself to, obviously you've kind of shared the refund policy, you've shared the inventory, you're starting to kind of get the ball rolling. This will be, first 30, 60, 90 days. What are some expectations that you have that you kind of set as mile markers for you in the business?
Um, that's a good question. For me, I wanna get this brand to a point where somebody mentions the word Veveil and you would know exactly what that is. You don't have to be like, what is that?
Hmm.
That is my goal for this brand. And I think that's my milestone. And the other one would be is just the next one. I want to, once I reach a certain amount of revenue, I'm looking to partner up with um, nonprofit organizations. And I want to be able to give back to the community. As I mentioned earlier, I'm from Ethiopia, and I want to be able to go back, not physically, but give back to the Ethiopian community. There are a lot of people that are in need. So that are the two milestones that I'm looking forward to.
Awesome. Awesome. And look, there's definitely a big push in most entrepreneurial circles of social impact, right? Of giving back, of having your company means something beyond just the sale of a product or a service. And it's so cool to hear that. So, congrats to you. And, it's going to, it might take a little bit of while to kind of get that ball rolling. But that's pretty awesome that you have that already kind of in place. So what are some things that I guess now that you're launched and you're out there and every day is about like, hey, how can you service the next customer? Do you do anything that's maybe a little bit of a touch different in the shipping? Do you stick a little note in there? Like, what are some things that you do to make the experience different of receiving your jewelry?
Actually, if it's okay, this is my packaging.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. They have this packaging so that way, it's easier for them to store their jewelry. We also have this extra like satin packaging as well that comes with the jewelry. And there's a thank you, of course. For me, I feel like it's a must. There's a thank you card that goes with the card because without my customers, honestly, I would not be here, right? It's for them. So of course there's a thank you card, not a handwritten thank you card that I
Okay.
put with every order. And also I do this every time I place an order. I have a budget also dedicated for some jewelry that I order jewelry, but I don't sell it, but I put it extra jewelry with the order for them.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah, as long as the supply lasts, I put it in with the jewelry that they ordered. So
Oh, neat. So they get a little extra surprise.
yes.
Nice.
Yeah, they don't know what they're getting, but when they open their order, they will have extra piece of jewelry. It could be a necklace, a ring, earring, whatever it is. And
Oh,
then when I
wow.
do that, I see what they order, and then I try to add the extra jewelry that I'm adding I try to match it with what they ordered
Sure.
also.
The complimentary side. Nice, nice.
Yes.
Well, that adds an extra layer of personal touch, right? As you said, you spent some time on the box, on the packaging. It sounds like obviously you're doing everything right now. As you're growing the business, it's for that real personal touch. Maybe as you scale, might be a little bit harder to handwrite hundreds and hundreds of them, but and then hopefully it's thousands of orders a day. But it's an interesting thing as you start to scale your business and grow and see the dynamic, of where you're going. So what's kind of your vision over the next 6 to 12 months, if you have something very maybe specific in your mind that you'd love to share?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What's your vision for the next 6 to 12 months of kind of what you're seeing Veveil be in the next 6 to 12 months?
I want it to be in the next, okay, let me be realistic. By next year, this time, I want to look back. I don't want to say I have to stop handwriting notes, but I want to increase sales and revenue. And by next year, I really want to be to a point where, again, this is not only about sales or money, but I want to be able to see myself partner up with a nonprofit organization and start contributing to that organization. That's something that I'm looking forward to. That would be an achievement for me. Yes, we all like the profits, but at the same time, I think giving back would be something that is going to be satisfying to me. That's my vision. That's my goal.
Awesome. Well, look, that's a big one, and it's part of your journey that you're going to have. Anything that you're doing too that maybe combining efforts with other apparel. Do you see opportunities with Veveil, maybe partnering with maybe a certain type of apparel that the jewelry would really look good with? Are you making any efforts to kind of cross connect with those types of people?
Actually, I'm surprised you mentioned that. That was something that I've been thinking about a lot. And I've been kind of looking at different apparels that are brands that are out there um, to see, hey, maybe it would be a good idea to partner up and do something. Because I'm so new at this, I haven't reached out to anyone yet, but that's one of the things that I've been thinking about doing, partnering up with, apparels, because like I said, jewelry is just piece that will complete your entire outfit. Hey, why not get someone, put everything together and put the outfit for them, and that makes it easier.
No doubt, no doubt. So,
Yeah.
and obviously, as you grow your sales, you may start thinking like, well, who's going to help me get all this stuff out? And maybe I need a new location, or you got to inventory stuff, that type of thing. So right now, is it, as they say in America, me, myself, and I? Are you the one kind of doing everything?
Well, I want to say me, myself, and I, but as far as packaging and stuff like that, my husband is the one who helps with the packaging.
Oh, okay, awesome.
So yeah, but everything else, I can say me, myself, and I.
Awesome. Well, hey, you got to wear a lot of hats, especially at the beginning.
Yes.
So you go from employee trading hours for dollars, self-employed, it's whatever you make of it, and then you become a business owner, right? Once you have a business, then you have a system, you have a process, and things are rolling and things like that. So it's really cool stuff. So awesome. Well, hey, look, one of the things that we really enjoy is ending our interviews with CEO, right? So client experience, employee engagement, and operational excellence. So when you're thinking about these things in Veveil and you're starting to really kind of get this ball rolling, what do you think is something that really can be in your difference maker, your value proposition for client experience?
Okay. So for me, the idea is to buy and keep the joy. What do I mean by that? Nowadays, you can buy jewelries for $14, $15, $20. And then maybe you will wear it for a month and it will tarnish, it will change color, and it's not the same quality anymore. And then you go out, you buy another one for $20, $15. that's what I don't want. My idea is just they buy it, they keep it for a long term, they wear it, for years to come. And they're coming back to me not to buy the same jewelry, but different style because they like it. So that is my proposition. I just, it has quality that will last for years to come, not just, you wear it for a month and you have to go out and get another one, and you don't have that anymore. So that is my value proposition for my brand.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And look, and I mean, I think you pay what you get, or you get what you pay for, right? They say, they say in the absence of value, price is an issue. So when there's a ton of value, price is not an issue. So it's pretty awesome stuff. So, so I know that right now it's me, myself, and I, and your husband, you've recruited him to do shipping with you. So as you think about just like the partners, I know the one major manufacturer that you have, what are some things that you could share that you've been able to implement so that relationship is really engaging?
What I did is, first, when I even get to talk to them, and when I told them who I am, I shared my vision with them. I told them my plan for the brand, the idea behind it, and all that. And once they assigned a dedicated person for me, I explained what my brand is. I explained everything to her, and she kind of knows my expectations. And also, I kind of shared the jewelry types that I'm looking for. So there could be a new one that's coming out, and if she sees something that I like, I would send her ideas. Hey, I want something like this, so similar to this. So when she sees something like that coming out, she would message me, hey, this is coming out, are you ready for your order? Should we excuse me, should we batch it for the next one? And if something that I like, that way we've been, communicating really well. The other thing, I don't know if this makes a difference also as far as payments. Once you start making payments, they send you the product, if it's credit or not. I am very good on making payments. I don't want them to beg me for, taking payments and things like that. So that way, we have a good relationship going as far as, communicating with them. So that so far it has been working out great.
All right. That's phenomenal. I mean, that last part, just of payments, a lot of people, sometimes forget that, business is about collaboration with many different steps, right? So if you have a manufacturer, building something for you, creating something for you, and they're putting their time, they're selling their service to you, they deserve to get paid. And then obviously on you, on the retail side, right, you deserve to get paid just like you do. So pretty awesome stuff. So last one is operational excellence. And I know you're kind of new to the game, and over the last 9 months, you kind of put the steps and the pieces from the website to the purchasing, to the fulfillment of the order, to the shipping. You're starting to learn the processes, right? They called standard operating procedures. So what would you say right now is kind of your first, 6 months that now you've gotten into this thing, this business, that you would consider kind of your operational excellence? What are you doing that you're like, man, I've got this really tuned in. Like I see the order, I know how to do this, this, and this, and it's out.
I'll tell you this. When I first, excuse me, when I first started putting the orders together, because one person can order 4-5 items, and for me, making sure that the right order goes into the right package to the right person, right? That was kind of, I'm like, how do I do it? It was a little bit, I'm like, okay. So now what I do is I would just print out all the orders. This is for me. I don't ship it to them. I just print out all the orders and I just lay them out, like everything. And then I put all my, their orders into that paper. My packaging goes into that paper. Everything goes into that piece of paper. And then that way I make sure nobody gets the wrong order, right? So, and then that way, once I have all my packages ready into that piece of paper, I package it and I ship it out. Usually we try to ship it out the same day or the next day, because we have it here, right, on hand. And I want customers to be happy with shipping time too. We have free shipping, but still, we don't want them to wait. So we just package it and ship it the same day or the next day. So far that's what I've been doing, and that has been working out great so far.
Well, hey, look, and that's teachable, right? Hey, I've got these 5 steps. You get an order, you print it, you lay it down, you grab the inventory, you set it right here, those types of things. And it's really cool because you've got nice packaging and everything. You can kind of probably stack it up and put it in a nice orderly fashion. So hopefully it gets chaotic for you and you've got so many orders. You have to always redefine the process, right? But it's pretty cool to hear that you have a specific process right now to fulfill the order. So, well, Amy, what is such a pleasure. I've been enjoying so much bringing, different guests and different types of CEOs and founders. I love the startups as well. I mean, it's so cool to hear. And I hope that someone really maybe is inspired by the way that you've shared what your vision was, even though you had to go get a different education that you didn't want to as much, you still fought to at one day launch this business, and November of 2021 was the day. So excited to have you on. So, and what are some of the best ways to really get a hold of you or Veveil, and how would you like, people to reach you?
I have my website, veveils.com. There's an S at the end, veveils.com. We also have Instagram, Veveils. That's going to be our Instagram handle. And they can also reach us via email, info@veveils.com. We're quick at responding to all our messages, either on Instagram or on email. So that's how they can reach me or my business, actually.
Awesome. Well, hey, www.veveils.com. So veveils.com. So Amy, thank you so much. And let's give them another taste of that beautiful name. How do we say the name again?
My name, right?
Your personal name. Yeah.
Hikmet.
I love it. Awesome. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, Go for CEO community, another great founder, CEO person that's really going to be impacting the jewelry business, and then having a social impact side of her business that really, she has a heart for giving back to Ethiopia and really doing big things. So let's support her. Let's leave some comments, smash the like button, and also leave a comment so that Amy can kind of interact with you, and love to be able to, bring you on in the next 6 to 12 months. I'd love to hear about, oh, John, it's going crazy. We got so many massive orders, right? All this type of stuff. And that's one of the things with Go for CEO. We want to bring you back and hopefully build a tribe of people starting to recognize, oh, hey, she's on Go for CEO. Let's hear the interview and let's order some product, right? So we'll go from there. So any last words?
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on your channel. And I hope my story would be a little bit of push for anyone who's trying to start their, pursue their passion. Go for it.
Go for CEO.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
So awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, Amy. We appreciate you, and we'll have you on soon.
Thank you.